Alright, I'll just hit record and see what happens. So, hello. I would like to talk about video games, and so I'm making this video. And the most recent video game I've played is Monster Hunter Wilds. And it's a pretty good game. I was pretty excited about playing it because I had played Monster Hunter Worlds a little bit before this game was released. Um, and I was digging Worlds. Worlds is kind of a special game. I haven't completed it, but I played, I don't know, 40 hours of it. Um, I tried to play it once and it didn't really click with me, and then I played it a second time and it's like, okay, I can kind of get it, and it's a pretty good game. But I was playing that leading up to, I knew Wilds was coming out, and I was kind of like really looking for a game to kind of like get excited about and stuff. And so, day one I was like, all right, let's go, let's get Monster Hunter Wilds. So I've played it. I think I've played this game for about 40 hours now. So I finished the game, and it's kind of an odd setup because it's right now at a release it's a pretty short game. Like I think I got to the end credits around 20 hours, which I feel like that's kind of short, but not necessarily a bad thing if it's a great game. And then there's like a post game section, which they really should have just waited with till the end credits till after you can finish like the second part of the game. I don't know, that was an odd choice, but the game can be like completed at like 30 plus hours, 30, 35, something like that, I think. And um, I enjoyed it, but it did have, there's some things I would be like, about it. But overall, it's a good experience, and I would recommend it. The action combat in it is like the main selling point. Um, and that there's a, I need to, I should mess around with some more weapons to kind of get more of an experience of it, because I played a handful of weapons, but each weapon does feel like a very different play style, which is good. That's what you kind of want from having multiple weapons like that in a game like this. And it's an action combat game, and I think I do kind of prefer an action combat RPG over like turn-based stuff. I like both, but the action is very visceral, and exciting. And so like even though I beat the game, I've kind of been still like playing around with it because that combat is kind of like addicting, and it's like it's like I want to you know because I'm playing some other games now that are like more chill, and I'll play them for a little bit, but then it's just like I need the action. I need the action, so I go back to this game and do like a hunt or two a night. But so what do I want to say about Wilds? The People say you don't play the game for the story, but I thought the story was pretty good. I think the characters are strong. I really like the characters. I think the characters kind of help the story. Um, the art design of the characters is very good. Voice acting is good. Um, I don't know. They just come off as like real and relatable and cool, and like I want to hang out with these people more. So it, I think that's a strong point in the game. Um, Again, I kind of feel like the story could have been a little bit longer, or just because I was into the characters. I wanted to spend more time with them in the story. But the focus of the game is more on the combat, which is very good. Um, I started out playing, what is it called? Switch Axe, I think, because I had played that in World and kind of liked it. And I was playing through like maybe 10 hours of Switch Axe, and it was cool. But I was whiffing a lot because it's one of those, it's one of those larger weapons where you have to kind of like charge it and plan stuff out ahead of time. And if you hit it, it feels great. But then if you whiff, you're just like, and then you get destroyed. And so I was getting just like, early on, it was fun. And then I was getting to a couple of different monster hunts where I was like whiffing a whole lot. And I was just like, damn it, this feels crappy. I was like, let me try something else. And I switched to sword and shield, which sounds boring and lame, but I finished the whole rest of the game on sword and shield, and it was quite fun. Um, I could talk a lot more about that play style. Maybe I will, but it was much faster. Um, it has some interesting stuff where you can like step back and jump up on top of the monster, and like the different weapons take some time to expertise, which is good. And sword and shield at the beginning, I was just like, oh, this is faster, that's good. But then after like 10, 15 hours, I was like, oh, okay, I get all the different combos, all the different things, you know what I mean? So it takes a good 10 to 15 hours maybe to get like solid with a weapon. Um, and again, that's good. That's like, that's, you want to experiment with stuff, get good at it. It should be, it should feel a certain way when you first start it, but then like when you master it, it feels like much better. And that's what it was like switching to sword and shield. Um, so it also makes me think like there's a lot of weapons I have no experience with, and maybe if I tried those out, I would want to spend another 10 to 15 hours like trying to master that weapon style. So I do see the replayability of the game. Um, Overall, I did think it was a little on the easier side. I did not die or have many roadblocks in the game. I think carded is the term people use because you kind of, it's not like you don't fail the quest, but you cart if you die, and then you get like 3 chances. I carded a handful of times, but not that many. Um, my some of my criticisms of the game do come into like the challenge and length of the game at release. This does seem to be like one of those games where it's like, um, I believe as World was, where it's like, okay, the game releases, and then in the next month or two, there's like a new boss they're adding, and then in a couple months they're adding another boss, and then they're gonna add like a DLC. So I mean, by the time the whole game is like done, maybe it'll be like a huge game with a ton of stuff. But at release, like it feels like there's only a handful of monsters, and it's like if you want to keep replaying the game, you're just like destroying these same handful of monsters over and over again, and it's like, you know, the game really could have used a like super 2 or 3 high end, like really difficult bosses where it's like you can't beat these unless you farm gear, but it doesn't have those right now, and so it's like, I could continue to play it to experiment with other things and stuff, but I really want a goal. You know what I mean? There's not that goal right now because I can beat any monster in the game without too much ease, and I don't even really have the best equipment and stuff like that. So I know it's 2025 and that's how things are. They like want to, dribble you the game and stuff like that. But if this was a truly great game, I think it could have released with a little bit more content for like the end game. And I probably would have wanted to like grind out for another 10 or 20 hours, to try to take on a high end boss. It's not there right now, but maybe it's coming. Maybe I'll mess around with it some more. But um, but again, overall, it was a it's the first Monster Hunter game that I've completed. Like I said, I have played, I think, most of Worlds. I haven't beat the game yet, but I did play a large majority of it, kind of leading up to Wilds. I don't know if I'll go back to Worlds or not, because yeah, once you play Wilds, it's like, okay, Worlds seems kind of dated at this point, so it's like, you know. But I feel like I kind of get the series because I remember, interesting enough, like my first experience with Monster Hunter was I played the demo for Rise before anything else, and I think I picked the like hammer, some like super heavy weapon because it just did the most damage, and I did like a hunt or two, and it was just everything was so slow and clunky. I was just like, what is this game? The combat is like so ridiculous. I didn't get it, and so I didn't even mess with it that much. But And it's funny because I compare this because I played Dragon's Dogma 2, which is another Capcom game, I believe. I don't know if it's like the same developers or not, but the game has a similar clunkiness to it, which I would describe as a good thing. Like Dragon's Dogma 2 is like clunky, but good clunky, and Monster Hunter is kind of like that too. It's got like it's not as smooth as like Elden Ring or some other like real smooth action games. It's a little clunky, but the clunky is kind of the charm of it. You need the whiffs and the slowness and some of that clunkiness to make it feel good when you connect to it. So Um, Again, just really interesting. I'm glad I got the game. I would recommend it. I'm probably going to goof around a little bit more with it. Is there anything else I want to say about Monster Hunter Wilds? Probably not right now, I guess. I think I covered the most of it. But so I did want to talk about that. I finished that. And the other thing I was going to mention in this video is that I am excited about a couple games coming out this week. It's weird because with video games, like I want to start making video games to talk about video games. Um, Again, I play all these games. I want to I also like read a lot of manga, and I watch anime, and I do art and stuff, and I want to I do all this I consume all this media, but then I have no one to talk to about it, really. So I have a couple of friends that I talk to about it, but I have just so much to like, I play so many games. I just want to like vomit all this, all my reaction to all these games and stuff. So I'm making these goofy videos. This is the first one. Maybe I'll make some more. We'll see how it goes. Anyways, I have a couple other games that are coming out this week that I'm very excited for. And again, like my usually for a long period of time, I was like just obsessed with video games. It was like consuming all of my mind. In the past year or so, sometimes it's kind of been up and down. So because I've wanted to start making videos about games, but then the passion hasn't been there 100%. But it is kind of there right now because there's some really good games coming out. So Xenoblade Chronicles X is coming out this week, and Atelier Yumia, which I'm excited for both of these games. I have pre-ordered Xenoblade X, so I'm picking that up in just like 2 days or so. I haven't really played a lot of games on the Switch in the past year or two because I got a PS5 and all my gaming time's really on the PS5. It's just such a more better experience. Switch is cool. It kind of got me back into gaming, which I could talk about in another video or something like that. Xenoblade X is only on the Switch, so I'm going to get that. And I just played a little bit of the demo for Yumia, and it's good. It is. It looks like it's good. I have a whole lot to say because I played all three Ryza games, and I have a lot of thoughts on those. And Yumia, I'm just interested, like, can it recreate that magic that the Ryza series had? Maybe. I'm interested. But I played the demo. It's got that early game crafting. It's like, ooh, I just want to see. And the crafting system seems very different. So I'm just, I went through the thing and I was just like, oh, this is confusing as hell. But that's kind of a cool thing. So I want to understand how it works. So I played a good game, Wilds. I'm very interested in these next two games that are coming out. And so I was excited enough to make this video. So I'll probably wrap it up for now. Again, I'm going to be picking up X in a couple of days. I have a whole lot of, I've played the other Xenoblade games, the first one, the second one. The third one I actually only got halfway through, which, if you're a Xenoblade fan, maybe you're shocked by that. But the third game didn't click with me as much as the first two. The first one is the GOAT. It's really good. And I've always wanted to play X, and it's always been on the damn Wii U. And I almost bought a Wii U years ago because I was so into the series. And I was always just like, man, they got to remake that for the Switch. And they are. And so at this point, I had to pick it up. I almost went with Yumia, but I was like, God, I've been waiting for X to be playable on the Switch for years. And it is. So, I am excited about that game. The story of it, I am so interested in. Which again, I'm not going to go into it right now, but I'll be picking up X. I'm going to play that. I'm very excited, and hopefully, once I play a little bit of it, I will maybe make another video and let you know what I'm feeling with X. And I have like many years of video game playing, which I've never yapped to about anybody that I would like to yap to. So I don't know what else to talk about next, but it's mid-March in 2025, and Wilds is what I've been playing, and X and Yumi is what I'm excited about next. and we'll go from there. So thanks for listening to me. Yeah, and I'll catch you next time. Thanks.